Hello. How's it going? I'm alive. For the couple of you who were hanging out on Friday, today's Saturday, so yesterday with Rasa and Dr. Monkeybot. Unfortunately, something happened to the internet in our area. Someone cut into a line. It took out the internet kind of downtown and in the West End where we are for a few hours. And then it came back and went out, etc. So I got to hang out in the chat for a little bit. I just switched to using the data plan, the 3G or whatever on my phone, or the LTE. But then I was getting notifications that I was running out of that, so I couldn't hang out too much, which was unfortunate. There was a lot of stuff I was hoping to talk about there. Stuff that I've seen lately, the Ink Pulp podcast, that channel that's on. There was a couple of videos there. The latest one that I watched where they were, it was Klaus Janson, Tim Sale, and then Mahfood, Jim Mahfood, and then the host, whatever his name is, and they were inking some Frank Miller from Dark Knight, and it was a really great, I think it was like a 2-hour thing. That was really cool. Wanted to talk about that. There was some kayfabe stuff. It would have been great to have talked about. So I was kind of bummed out that all of that shit the bed dropped out on me and I couldn't hang out for the rest of the time. But anyway, I'm here. We're leaving tomorrow for our trip. But there was some things I grabbed today that I wanted to talk about. So trailer's hooked up. It's ready to go. Tomorrow we load the last few things and then we're out of here for a week, which is going to be glorious. Out to Ontario. Can't wait. So today I picked up a few things. The main thing that I went to grab was Greg from Mulvey Flea Market there. I had talked to him a little bit ago. I'd sent him an email last week. Sometime during the week. I don't know what's going on. Got something in my eye. I don't know what's happening here. So I had emailed him last week to see if he had any of the Love and Rockets volumes, and he had volume 2, so he brought it in for me, and I went down and grabbed it. So this is coming with me on the trip. I'm still not finished volume 4, so I'll bring that along too. I'm really looking forward to kind of fully submerging myself into the Love and Rockets world a little more here now that I have these 3 volumes. I'm hoping I can get my hands on volume 1 at some point. I'm not sure, or book 1, I guess. I'm not sure how many collections of this there were. I'm guessing there's more than 4, but we'll see. Hey, who's that doing art there? Story and art by Mario. Oh, okay. Look at that. Hey, that's good. That's not in any of the other volumes. Check that out. That's great. I like that a lot. That reminds me of, what's his name? Reminds me a little bit of Justin Green, that art style. That's very cool. I don't know if there was any Mario, I work for Mario in the other volumes that I have. So that's exciting. That's a nice surprise. I haven't really sat and looked through any of this stuff, so this will be a first for me as well. He had some craft magazines as well too for dirt cheap. So I bought a few. I've got a small stack now. These 3 are staying with me, and then I'm going to be putting together a care package for my brother, and the other cracked magazines I'm going to send him. But these ones stayed with me because they have some... this one has some Don Martin in it, obviously. Big fan of Don Martin. And then these 2 have some 8-ball. Klaus has some Dan Klaus in it. So I'm holding on to those suckers. We won't flip through them. And then something that popped up for dirt cheap because it's in really rough shape. I don't find this magazine around too much. I know there was a collection of comics books, so this is the underground stuff that Marvel Comics did for a while. So some underground artists. Kim Deitch, Justin Green's in here, Mike Plug, Rich Trina Robbins, Spiegelman's in here, S. Clay Wilson. Wolverton art as well. So that's cool. I only have one other volume or one other issue of this. Oh, there you go. Howard Cruz right on the back. So that's pretty great. Wonder what Wolverton art appears. Oh, there we go. There's Justin Green. Oh, nice. A couple of strips at the end there. That's pretty great. Yeah, there we go. We Fellow Travelers Part 2. So there's some Justin Green right there. Yeah, of course I won't be able to find... Oh, there we go. Oh, hey, a chapter of Mouse. Huh. Didn't realize that they ran parts of this. I don't know how many issues Comix book went, but it didn't go that many issues, did it? I want to say like 4 or 5 only. So you get a good sampling. I mean, it's, you know, it's great that they gave it a shot, and kind of gave a little bit of mainstream exposure to some of these artists. I don't know if all of the stuff was, oh, hey, beautiful. There's Trina. Yeah, there's a Trina Robbins interview as well that I started watching yesterday, and I can't remember the name of the channel, but I guess it's part 2 of an interview, so I'll have to go back and look for part 1. She starts off talking about, yeah, I'm not seeing any Wolverton in here. I probably flipped by it, but she talks about the women and the comics to start off this interview, and kind of right away cops to, listen, the thing that you have to know about that book is there was so many, we got so much wrong in there because our research was going, the research that we did, it was limited to the information that was out there about these female artists and creators in the comics industry, and that information was wrong. You know, it was, she kind of claims like this was before the internet, and we got a bunch of stuff wrong. I don't buy that as much for an excuse. Like, you don't need the internet to do research properly. One thing that she does talk about, though, is that was her first book. So she had asked Kat Ironwood to kind of help her out with it. So there was probably a bit of kind of her nervous about the whole thing to begin with. It's just unfortunate that, hey, G, how's it going? It's just unfortunate that she didn't put in the research to kind of try to fact check. I realize that, you know, not everything is going to be at your fingertips, but that's what happens when you decide to write a book about people where there's research involved. Sometimes the research is going to take you years to make sure that you get things right. So those were the few things from Greg. Stopped in at Thirsties as well too, and found some discounted stuff. Found like I said, the other batch of Cracked magazines were from Thirsties, and then something else they had for $2. I'm sure I had this when I was a kid, a treasury of Peanuts, which is fantastic for like 2 measly bucks. So how the hell can you pass that up? And just the strips, you know, black and white. And then I think it cuts to the Sundays as well too, that are in here. I do remember seeing, I had a quick flip through this one. Do you remember seeing some full page ones? Yeah, here we go. So that's great. I'm really excited about that. My love of Peanuts, we've talked about before. Let's see if we can find what years we got here. Copyright 1968. Peanuts cartoons, copyright from 59 all the way to 67. And then this looks like this is the 3rd printing, so from October 1969. Oh, and it looks like someone might have had some paper down and traced Charlie Brown there on the front. I can feel it coming through. So either way, that's cool. Love it. I love this. So I don't know. I mean, it's pretty easy to take with me, so maybe that'll come with me as well too for some just kind of light reading, or maybe sitting and reading to Lillian before bedtime while we're out there. So that was great. And then just a stack of stuff to talk about here. I've had a running list for quite a while. There was a lot of stuff I think from the cartoonist kayfabe guys when they're going through their mailbag and they're talking about kind of indie books. I end up making a lot of notes or bookmarking it kind of on my comic shop. The ever popular, ever growing and diminishing shopping cart that's on there at all times. Just keep throwing things in there and throwing things on wish lists and that sort of thing. So I sold off a bunch of I cut down my Discog stock. There was a lot of stuff that I had there, a lot of CDs specifically that I had on my Discogs page for the last couple of years. That's just not moving. It just wasn't moving. So, and even when I was cutting down prices and I was trying to offer cheaper shipping, I even offered free shipping for a short time at the beginning of the pandemic in hopes that people would kind of buy more. There's just some stuff that's not moving. And at this point, like I've done really, really well with selling things. So I took it to a local record store downtown just to sell it all off, knowing full well that I was only going to get $1 or $2 per CD. I did a little bit better than I expected, which was great. I think I ended up averaging closer to $3 a CD, you know, which was fantastic because I mean, CDs aren't something that people are buying anymore, really. So just to kind of move stuff out. So I had this chunk of change and I did an order from Comic World online, Doug Sleepa's Comic World that I've talked about a million times. And I went and picked that up at Thirsty's. It's been sitting there waiting for me for a week. I just didn't have a chance to get there last weekend. So that's what these are. And I figured, you know, we'll go through them and tell you what little I do know about them. A lot of these, I don't know much, to be honest. Like I said, some of this is from lists that I've just kind of compiled over the years. So some of this might have been on a list and I've long forgotten why it was on there, other than the art looked really cool. So I kind of started into this one today. This is Ashley Dust, issue number 1. Rick McCallum. And I read kind of the first few pages of it. It's pretty fun, kind of like a little bit like a female Doctor Strange to some degree, but she is communicating with the dead, and it's people like Robert E. Howard, L. Ron Hubbard. Who else was she talking to here? I thought there was a rundown. H.P. Lovecraft is somebody else who makes an appearance in the book as well too. So it's a dense read for sure. I only had time to read kind of the first 4 pages or so. But I mean, check out that artwork. It's intense, man. Has that kind of underground feel, but still that kind of extra detail. So McCallum has done stuff for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think he did an issue of that. Also did some Turtle Soup. He appeared in a Taboo as well, which I have pulled before the video started, so we'll have a quick look at that too. But those pages are beautiful. I'm loving this. It was the only issue that he had, I believe, and it's this kind of great glossy cover here. I want to say this is from like 91 or something. I can't read that. It's all kind of... Oh, 1994. There you go. So 1994. Yeah, hey, Weird Dad. How's it going, man? Yeah, it's even better in person. I don't know if sometimes the video doesn't do this stuff justice. So the Taboo special, he has a story in here as well. Not as dense, but still looks really fantastic. Let's see if we can find a good page here. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. So there you go. And these stories have a kind of quick introduction to the artist and the story at the beginning of each of them here. So the art is still great in this one. I really like it in that Ashley Dust, though, quite a bit. Really must have had a lot more time on his hands. Although when you look at the ground in that picture there, that's pretty great shit. Drawing all those kind of little pebbles and things. And some cool page layouts there. So yeah, that's something that's been on the shelf for a while. So nothing that I picked up today. Gnarly indeed. And some of these smaller companies, the stuff I have bookmarked is just because I want to collect everything from them, you know. So this one, for example, is Starhead Comix, that I have a few things from. I can't remember if Starhead was somehow affiliated with Fantagraphics or not. Seattle doesn't say right in the front. You know, again, some of this stuff, the other thing is it's dirt cheap, so it's worth giving a shot. The art doesn't strike me as much on this one. Oh, I didn't say it. Bazango Obscuro #1 there. So that's a look at the insides there. Humor mag, I'm imagining. And then the I like that back cover using the blue. Steve Willis, I believe, is the name. Yeah, Steve Willis. 1994. Not sure if I said that already. So not much else to tell you about that one. Yes. So unfortunately, he didn't have book #2, which was too bad because this is book #3 of Big Black Kiss. I was really looking forward to this one. I sent him an enormous list, and he came back to me with a price for everything, and it was just too far out of reach for me. So I cut back on a bunch of stuff. But this is one that stayed anyway, even though I didn't have volume 2. I'm still hoping I can find it because I really dug volume 1. I did talk about it in a video at some point. If you've seen it, not much to really show you here that we haven't seen before when I talked about it previously, but very excited to have another volume of this. Cannot wait to get #2 because that first one got my attention, man. It really got my attention. Good old Chaykin. Yeah, it's one of those things when you're dealing with Doug and Comic World, because his catalog is so big. I don't know how many people he has helping him, or how often they kind of hit that website. But it's always a little disappointing when they don't have stuff because he's got a hell of a list. What do we got here? Is that #4? Yeah, there we go. So I thought I only had issue #1. Now that I'm seeing these covers in person, I'm not 100% sure if that's true. I might have another one of these. It was Rez that sent me this, the first issue of this box from Eros Comics. And I really loved it. I really dug it. Really bizarre. And some great art in the first one. And it looks about the same. Yeah, and I'm wondering if this is the issue that I have. And again, Eros stuff doesn't pop up too much. It doesn't come out too much. It doesn't poke its head out too much when I'm looking for it. It's something that either people have and then they feel too filthy and throw it away, or they have them hidden in a box deep in their basement. But there you go. So there's a look at box. So I picked up issue #2, 3. This is the one that I look at that cover and I'm like, shit, maybe I do have this one somewhere. Issue #3, and then issue #4, probably my favorite cover out of all of them. Just ridiculous. So yeah, that'll be a fun one to dig into. A couple of Eclipse stuff that I don't see that often. still hitting that, trying to finish everything off there. So this one is a collection of kind of, newspaper strips, Comics Express, Volume 1, Number 1. I don't know how many of these there were, but I'll show you the breakdown in the front. This one actually might be a lot more fun than I thought. Outland by Berkeley Breathed, Ernie, Bad Habits, Mother Goose and Grimm, The New Breed, Shoe, The Neighborhood, and, Bizarro was always one of my favorites. I loved Bizarro. The Far Side and Bizarro were the two that I just really loved. So there's a Bizarro on the back. A super thick volume, and just page after page, broken up into sections. There's The Neighborhood. Neighborhood I'm not familiar with. It's not one that I remember seeing in our newspapers here. And then here's Shoe. Shoe I absolutely remember. I never really read it, but I think part of the fun with this one, it'll be great to revisit this stuff now that some time has passed. Maybe I'll get more out of it. Another one that I don't recognize, New Breed. We didn't have that one here. Mother Goose and Grimm for sure we had. I read this one. I remember it being a lot of fun. Bound to be some gut busters, yeah. Ernie, I don't remember Ernie. Let's go to, here we go. So there's some Outland. So this is the one that I'm really curious to read. I've got that, like I was talking about before, I've got that comics journal that has an interview with him, and my daughter has a kid's book that he did that we absolutely love. So I'm really curious to dig into these again and give them another shot to see how they fare now. But so that's kind of cool. And like I said, another Eclipse off the list. The cover on this first one is fan-fucking-tastic. And I really think that this was, I'm pretty sure that this was one from Jim and Ed. So this is something called Dark Star from 1991. This is issue number 1. And there's the front cover. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's amazing. I absolutely love this. It's really, really great. No sign of a title whatsoever. Just double checking. Yeah, no, nothing. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So it's Rebel Studios, and on the back you get the information there. And like I said, 1991. The interior art isn't horrible, but it doesn't blow me away. Although that dark is pretty incredible there. Let's get to a page here. There you go. There's a sense of, there's a bit of what you're getting with Dark Star issue number 1. Let's get some names here. Excuse me. And as is usually the way, nothing right on the front. Scott France, Frantz, it looks like. So I'm assuming did everything. And that's only because they have his name on an ad for Dark Star issue number 2. On sale now. Beautiful, man. Almost want to, I'm hoping I can find another issue of that in a dollar bin so I can peel that cover off. Check that shit out. Dark Star poster. That's amazing. So that'll be, I think that'll be a fun one to sit through if I can manage. But like I said, that cover is fucking incredible. And that's gotta be a kayfabe influence book there. And then issue number 2 as well, with still a badass looking cover. Another Eclipse / ICG Terry Callan's Directory to a Non-Existent Universe, and it's as exciting as I thought it would be. It doesn't. I had to flip through this one too, and it just doesn't look. Again, it's what happens when you're collecting from one specific company. So, but I mean, I might be wrong. I might read a bit of it and it be absolutely hilarious, but I highly doubt it. So, Pete Moss. So there you go. So a bunch of characters that are created that don't really exist anywhere, and then we get a story in the back. Super time. Nothing about this interests me too much, to be honest, other than the Eclipse. So there you go. There's a look at that one. This is exciting from Renegade Comics. Steve Ditko's World Static, or Ditko's World featuring Static. Sorry, having trouble speaking today. Look at those. I love these covers. I've only got the first one. I don't remember how many there were. There might have only been 3 of these, but this is some great stuff. I'm really, really glad that he had these ones. You know, look at that shit. Those pages are amazing. Love it. I love that panel right there. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. Really, really nice. So yeah, that's a good score for sure. Holy shit. What the hell is this? Introduction. My alter ego is CA Comic Action, so I don't know if this is like a, hey kids, here's how to draw different heads. Jesus Christ. That is a dense fucking page. Beautiful. So number 2 and number 3 of Ditko's World featuring Static. Another fucking amazing cover. It's a hell of a great looking character too. That Static. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Again, unfortunately, no more of these. This has been a really hard one to find, the single issues. I only had issue number 1. He didn't have any other ones except for these 2 that I picked up. So this is Eddie Current by Ted McKeever, issue number 3 from Mad Dog Graphics. Again, I've got the hardcover collections, but I fucking love McKeever so much that I want to have all these as single issues. And again, this is early stuff. I think it was Transit first and then this. I think I always do this in the videos when I talk about McKeever. But check out those pages, man. Look at that. Oh, this side. Look at that. And actually, look at the way those 2 panels play off each other. Really, really nice. Very excited about that. Nice to see his work in a floppy format. So it was issue number 3 and issue number 7 that he had. Those were the only 2 that he had. But for the price, why the hell not? Oh, hey, Blue Botic, how's it going, man? Yeah, if you don't know McKeever, I don't know how. I know we've talked a lot game-wise. I don't know how into kind of the world of comics you are, but Ted McKeever is definitely a guy to keep your eyes out for if you ever go hunting or if you ever see a stack of comics and you're interested. Metropole would be the one that I would kind of put you onto for sure. But like I said, if you ever find stuff like this, he's great. He's really, really great. And there you go. Then there's some flip. Amazing broccoli on this side. Amazing broccoli in Mondo Condo. Interesting. I don't know if I'd have to pull out the hardcover to see if this is included in that collection or not. Yeah, so there you go. Ted McKeever. Very into comics. Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't realize, I guess. Again, I needed it. I really do not like this fashion in action, but this was the only one that I needed. Again, Eclipse. So I grabbed it. The winter special. We're not even going to look through it. Nothing really to say about it. Another one that I used to have, not this. This is Fly in My Eye Exposed, but I had some of the Fly in My Eye stuff when I was younger. McKeever's thing with Peter Milligan. Which one was that? Remind me which one that was. Was that like Extremist, or was that no, not Enigma? Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, Extremist. Yeah, that is the one. I have read it a long time ago. It's been a hell of a long time. It may be worth a revisit. So I had a bunch of Fly in My Eye before, kind of a horror anthology. I'd never heard of this Fly in My Eye Exposed. Unfortunately, they didn't have any, or he didn't have any Fly in My Eye. So this is Arcane and Eclipse. This was the only thing that he had. It looks pretty great. And as soon as I started flipping through, these are the images, or this is the style that jumped out at me from those Fly in My Eye. This artist, I believe, did one of the covers for Fly in My Eye. Get a name. There's no name there. Rick Geary, who seemed to appear in almost everything at one point. He seemed to pop up all over the place and then just completely vanished, at least from me. Oh, and Matt Howarth. Look at that. That's pretty great. Now let's find out who that final artist was there. I think this one had a table as a table of contents. Jeffrey K. Potter, starting on page 37. So yeah, that's pretty cool to grab one of those. I would love to find that Fly in My Eye stuff again. Another one, very excited. This one might actually end up coming with me. I'm not going to be bringing much of these. I want to bring like stuff that's a little easier to transport. But this is the rest of I Want to Be Your Dog by Ho-Che Anderson, or Ho-Che Anderson. Very excited for this. The one issue that I do have already, number 3, I think it was. I enjoyed it quite a bit, so I'm looking forward to digging into this again and now sitting and reading the entire thing. And I mean, you know, like we've talked about before, when he did the kayfabe interview, he was talking about when he worked early on in his career. He was kind of, oh, you really got to, Ted McKeever, this is the guy you want to move towards. This is the kind of stuff you want to do. And so, I mean, he has that kind of McKeever aesthetic to some degree. There's some similarities there for sure. He's still very much doing his own thing, no doubt about it. But it kind of feels like it's in that kind of same universe as McKeever. So that's great. Issue number 1, 2, 4, and 5, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's the whole run. Great cover on this one here for number 4. And then, yeah, number 5. Another one that I'm not sure exactly why it was on the list, but I have it now, so I guess we'll find out. I'll have to do some research into it to see why exactly this was on the list. I have a feeling, again, this was from the Kayfabe guys. So Jazz Age Chronicles. The title doesn't ring a bell. Like when I saw the stack, it didn't ring a bell with me. Ted Slampyak, Slampyak, Caliber Press, 1990. It doesn't blow me away looking, but you know, again, it's not horrible. I'll have to remind myself why the hell this was on a list and do a bit of digging into maybe what the story was. There must have been something about the story. Maybe it was some crime thing or something. So we'll find out. I will report back. So number 1, number 2, the covers aren't horrible. The covers are pretty great. Well, some of them are pretty great anyway. Number 3, 4, and then 5. I like that one quite a bit. So there we go. I was short 2 issues of The Legend of Kamui. So he had them, thank God. I won't bore you again with how fucking incredible this series is, but I absolutely goddamn loved this series. So I don't remember if it left on much of a cliffhanger, but I am very excited to have this completed now. Again, it's one of those that if you ever see these, I don't see them often. When I do, they're pretty damn cheap though. If you ever run across these, really, really give it a shot. Fucking incredible comics. It's good the whole way through, but it starts off, this Eclipse run anyway, starts off very, very strong. And one of the things I think I talked about way back in that video was that when they were publishing these, when Viz and Eclipse kind of teamed up to publish these, they were kind of running the stories not in the original order that they came out in. That said, though, where they chose to start, it felt pretty natural, and it's just some really, really beautiful stuff. So there's issue number 37. I'm so excited to have these suckers. These will probably get read tonight before bed, these last 2. I mean, look at that shit. Really great. Like just the energy on those pages, it's amazing. We've talked about it on Dr. Monkeybot's channel as well too, when he was showing off some stuff. Just the kind of movement, like that's a great back cover for that. You know, again, that idea of feeling the creator's hand in it. You can feel that, but there's also just such fucking energy in there as well too. Amazing. So happy about that. And then again, in the world of why the fuck did I pick these up? We have Norm Breyfogel's Metaphysique, issue number 1 and issue number 2. And I honestly could not tell you. Malibu, I don't think it was anything to do with the label itself, or the company itself, rather. Could not tell you why these ones were there. There must have been a review or something, but again, when it's cheap, why not give it a chance? I gotta trust my list. Trust the list. And then issue number 2. The last Mr. X from volume 1, so issue number 14, so the final one. Another one that I'm very excited about to finish off that first volume. Beautiful cover. I think this was still Seth here, wasn't it? Oh no, illustrated by Rodney Dunn in this one here. Yeah, issue number 14. Yeah, speaking of, that completes the run of volume 1. Yeah, that's it for volume 1 there, Weird Dad. And then I've just got to get into volume 2, and then I think it went to a couple of companies from what Gore Vidal was telling me. Just kind of thinking back to that extremist there, Weird Dad. There was an interview with Peter Milligan on a channel. I think it was actually Gore Vidal that told me about it. I started to watch it. I think it came on Thursday. And I tried watching it while I was doing some work in the office. and the audio was really, really bad, so it wasn't quite working out for me. The host's volume was extremely loud, and then Milligan's was really, really quiet, so I couldn't just kind of jump back and forth with the volume while I was working. So I haven't sat and listened to it. I'd love to hear it, though. He's a guy that interests me, and I don't think I've even read any interviews with him. I can't say that I've ever really heard much from him, period. I'm sure that they exist out there, but he's been off my radar. I'd love to hear what he has to say about things. So this is the Mr. X special, I think from around the same time. And this one's beautiful. Oh boy. Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm reading that writing. Poor choice there. Oh, here we go in the back cover, maybe. Oh, hey, look at that. William P. Marks produced and directed. Pete Milligan, story. Brett Ewins, art. Oh, shit, yeah. Scott Christie, design. Deborah Marks, letters. So this is a special, a one-off special. And it's black and white, and it looks incredible. Looks really great. There we go. Yeah, nice nice score. He had a bunch of Volume 2 as well, but I'm going to wait because Volume 2, it feels like it's going to be something that I'll be able to find in kind of a chunk, maybe the whole thing. The only one that I was missing from this Orbit, we've spoken about it before. This was issue number 1. This is also from Eclipse, and this is the one that had sci-fi. So we got an Isaac Asimov, Nothing for Nothing, illustrated by John Bolton. Fermi and Frost by Frederick Pohl, illustrated by Brent Anderson. Ginny Sweet Hips' Flying Circus by Neil Barrett Jr., illustrated by Mark Pacella. And I'm pretty sure there was only the 3 issues of this. So I've got all of them now. Oof, look at that coloring. That's something. That's intense. Here we go. There's the John Bolton. Oh, nice. That looks pretty good, actually. Look at those panels. Beautiful stuff. That looks great. Now's your time, Damien. We're almost at the end. Pop in at any moment now. I believe this series started off as an underground comic and then came to Eclipse. And I think this completes the run for me. I have issue number 1. This is Portia Prins of the Glamazons. One of those Eclipse titles that I never see anywhere. I rarely even see it on lists. So it was nice to see on the Comic World list there, and figured if I'm going to grab it, this is the time. So look at the insides there. What do we got? Written, illustrated, and lettered by Richard Howell, and then edited by Kat Ironwood. There you go. Two, 3, and 4, and 5. That's a pretty great cover. And 6. So there we go. Creeping up to the end here. The again, final one that I needed from this run. Seduction of the Innocent, another Eclipse one. This one was reprinting Pre-Code Horror, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Although it doesn't really look... And it's also been colored, which is always kind of unfortunate. Yeah, for sure. For those Portia Prinz, yeah, exactly. I have no idea what to expect from that series whatsoever. Like I said, that one issue that I have, I don't even think I've read it. I flipped through it. It didn't strike me as something I needed to read right away. So now that I've got them all, maybe I'll try to dive into them. For some reason, this issue has been really difficult to find. It's been on my list because I see the Seduction of the Innocent fairly often when I go to these comic shows, but it's always the same couple of issues. I never see this one, so it's good to have this one complete. And they do give some credits here too, which is also good. Oh, the colors. They give credits to the colorist. I just assumed. Silly me. I thought they would... Yeah, no, it's colors credits. So, because I was going to say that would be pretty impressive to... if they're finding out the artists and giving them proper credit. Shit, yeah, man. Strange Days, featuring Johnny Nemo, issue 2 and 3, 2 other issues that complete the collection. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not opposed to the coloring. It's just on some of that stuff, I'd prefer to see it in the black and white, because the coloring for some of that stuff, it doesn't normally do much for me. Yes, so here we go. Freak Wave by Milligan and McCarthy. There we go. That's the shit that I thought was in this. Look at that. That's fucking beautiful, man. Oh, hell yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Really happy to get these final issues. Fucking beautiful. And then we get Johnny Nemo at the end here. Peter Milligan and Brett Ewins. Colors Tom Frame. What do we got here? 1984 for Johnny Nemo. Nice. Full page ads. Beautiful. That's very exciting. And then we'll have a quick flip through. This is issue number 3 of the same one, of Strange Days as well. Featuring Paradox, which I've got the Paradox stuff already, but I don't have the Freak Wave stuff. I don't think this... I want to say that the Freak Wave was put out in an oversized book too. Maybe that was on Kayfabe as well. They were speaking about it, if I remember right, during that interview they did with him. But other than that, I don't know if this Freak Wave appeared anywhere else, or if maybe it appeared in Paradox. But I mean, this isn't looking familiar to me whatsoever, so... Fucking ridiculous art. Totally ridiculous. Love it. And some more Johnny Nemo. Beautiful. Those are beautiful books, man. And speaking of beautiful books, oh, there you go. Maggie's a mechanic. She can fix anything. On my list forever, man. Fucking Jim Woodring. Tantalizing Stories, the final 2 issues that I needed for this run too. I don't think there was too many of them, but really, really excited about this. Let's get to some beautiful Woodring. Look at that. Fucking love this guy so much. I don't know if it's still up, but there was that documentary of Jim Woodring that was posted over the lockdown. I'm not sure if you can still find it, but it's well worth checking out. Look at that. Oh, fuck. I love it so much. And this is the thing, like when I was talking about Love and Rockets, this is the stuff that I was reading when Love and Rockets was coming out. I was reading Jim Woodring. I was reading Pete Bagg. I was reading Daniel Clowes. Like, this is the stuff that, I mean, to this day, it still resonates with me deeply. But this is the stuff, this is where my head was at that time. It just wasn't in the Love and Rockets world, and that's not to disparage Love and Rockets whatsoever. It's just, this is what I was looking for. This was the kind of thing I was really looking for at that time. Stuff that was going to fucking blow my head off. Like, look at that shit. Unreal. I love Jim Woodring. I'll just show you the last 2 pages too, or the first couple of pages. Pretty much gone through the whole story anyway, so finish it off there. Beautiful. So that was what, issue number 1, I believe, and then issue number 3 of Tantalizing Stories. So it was Jim Woodring and this other artist. Mark Martin, is that his name? I mean, his stuff doesn't look horrible. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So I can't remember if this was one where they each did a story and then one of the stories they kind of collaborated on. Like one of them wrote a story for the other one to draw. I think that was the format of this. There's some more Jim. Some more of Mark. Really should see if that's his. Yeah, Mark Martin. That is his name, Mark Martin. That's a great drawing right there. A little Frog and Toad, a little Wind in the Willows vibes. Two more to go here, and then that's it. Vic and Blood, Chronicles of a Boy and His Dog by Harlan Ellison and Corbin. I've got number 1, so there's number 2. I want to say this was only a 2-issue mini. Another one for the Corbin collection. I haven't sat and read the first one yet. Again, his name comes up a couple of times on the Best of Days, but Gore Vidal says that this is one of his favorite Boy and His Dog short stories of all time. So I'm looking forward to checking those out. And then last and certainly not least, he had a bunch of these listed. I think he had, I want to say he had numbers 1 to 5 listed on his website, but unfortunately that didn't exist. So only number 5 was still in existence of Yummy Fur. So still good. It's really hard to find the early issues of Yummy Fur, Chester Brown. So I jump on them when I can. There we go, people. Thanks very much. Weird Dad, thanks for hanging out, man. Blue Boddick, it was good to see you. And of course, Mind the Comics, G. Always good to see you in the chat. That is it. We'll see you in like, oh geez, I don't know. It'll be a little while. A week or longer. Yeah, I mean, I've got to continue with those Corbin videos. I did a bunch of them already. I still have the stuff pulled. It's living on my shelf right now. I think on my Corbin, I'm gonna find a nice spot for it on the bookcase here that I'm looking at. Uh, I absolutely love them. Yeah, have a dig back in the videos there, Weird Dad. There's a few of them already. Talk about like the Den books and stuff, the kind of magazine sized or the band dessinée type size, and then talk a bit about Fantagor, the books in there. Do some reviews and show off some of that work. All of it is worth having if you stumble onto it. All right, have a good week. I'm gonna go and jump in the lake starting tomorrow. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging out.